Worship, we keep talking about this hiring freeze, and I guess I have a little bit different perspective than some. I realize that we may have to add some staff in our planning and our building department when we have an overflow and everything like that, but that doesn't mean that you cannot put a hiring freeze in place. Theoretically, if staff come forward and say, well, we're not getting it done, you got to remember that planning and building are basically, they don't come from the levy. It's the fees that people pay, the building permits and the planning application. So theoretically, most of that is funded through not from the levy, but from the fees. Yeah, that's the developers and everybody that's paying it. And in general, the public will pay it in the end because it's added on to the house you build or the factory you build, but still, it doesn't come off the levy. I think we need to take a different approach, sorry, but I think we need to seriously look. I have no problem with putting a hiring freeze in place. I also think we need to seriously look at, can we cut staff? And I agree with what everybody's saying. If there's someone who's leaving and we need to seriously look at, do we need to replace those people or not? But we need to get the budget under control. The other thing that I look at, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I look at when we get our budget audited and everything like that, over the years we've had some pretty good surpluses. Why don't we get to a point where we take some of those surpluses that we've had and move them forward to help offset some of the taxes that we are asking people? They have paid that money before. Why can we not use that to offset some money that we have gotten from the taxpayer, use it to offset taxes in another year? I can remember that when I was on the Township of Norfolk, whatever surplus we had went back in to offset the taxes for the next year. So that's the way I'm looking at it. You know, we're looking at a fairly good increase. There's no doubt about that. Some of it's justified, some of it may not be justified, and some of it's we're not in our control. And I'm talking about the OPP and others that we really don't have any say in. But I still think we can look at our own operations. And my colleague here said, well, maybe we did too much last year. We should have set aside. Well, you know, when you're a senior citizen living on a fixed income, 2% in your taxes is a big deal. And we have an awful lot of people out there that are in that situation. So I've gone through this budget and I'm as frustrated as anybody else around the table saying, where the heck are we going to find something that's going to make this work? I don't know where we're going to find it. We may find ourselves looking at different things. You know, I guess the other thing we can do is look at every other department and say, well, we want you to cut 5% out of your budget. And some things that I hear sometimes that are being done that I don't really think needed to be done, but are being done anyway. So you had the money to do that. Maybe there's money that instead of increasing the budgets for these departments, cutting them for a change. So I don't know where we're going to end up, but 7% is pretty rough. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.